Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Classes. So today we'll start a new chapter, chapter 9, Functions. Functions is a very important chapter in class 10 and about 50% of the programming questions use this concept of functions. So let us quickly start. So before understanding function, let us understand what is a program. So since class 9, we have written around 100 or maybe more than 100 programs. Okay. So what is a program? A program is nothing but it is a set of instructions given to the computer. Okay. Program is a set of instructions given to the computer. So before understanding this sentence, let us understand by taking a real life example. For example, this is you and this is your father, and he asks you to bring a glass of water. Okay, your father asks you to bring him a glass of water. So this is called instruction. Your father gave some instruction. What instruction? To bring him a glass of water. Okay. And then he tells you, please keep this glass. After drinking the water, he says, please keep this glass in the kitchen. So now there are two instructions. So bring me a glass of water, and after drinking, he says, please keep this empty glass in the kitchen. So when there are more than one instruction, it is called set of instruction. Set of instruction. So in a program, there can be one instruction or there can be more than one instruction. If there is more than one instruction, we will say that it is a set of instructions. Okay. So instruction facilitates actions, also called executable instruction. So when your father told you to bring him a glass of water, what did you do? You took a glass from the kitchen, went to the filter or maybe the aquaguard, filled up the glass and brought it to your father. So this is called execution. This is called execution of the instruction. When your father gave the instruction to bring him water, what you did? You executed that instruction. Okay, you executed means whatever he told, you did it. That is called executing the instruction. What did you do? You went to the kitchen, bought the glass, filled up the glass full of water and then brought it to your father. So this is called executive. So this is called execution. Okay, and all the instructions are executable instructions and it facilitates action. This is the action. Action means he told you and you executed it. This whole process is an action. It is an action plan. Okay. These are specified through methods or functions. So all these instructions in Java, all this set of instructions in Java are present in a program. Okay, this whole thing is called a program and all this set of instruction is present in a function. Okay, so in a program there are functions. A program contains many functions and each function contains set of instructions. Okay, the actually program directly doesn't contain any instruction. These instructions are present in a function, also known as a method. Okay, so similarly Like your father gave you some instructions to bring water, to keep the glass in the kitchen. Similarly, here in Java, we'll be given instructions to the computer. For example, you will ask the computer to add 5 and 10. So here add 5 and 10 is an instruction. Okay, add 5 and 10 is an instruction. And what will the computer do? Or here the Java will do, the Java compiler, it will add it and give you the result. It will execute so that it can give you some result. You are executing because you will get some result. So he will give you, or it will give you the result. So it will give you the result 15. Okay. So this is one instruction, and this instruction are present inside a function. And function is a part of a whole program. A program may have one function or more than one function. So till class 9, or till now, till chapter 8, if you can say, we started chapter 9 now, but till chapter 8, whatever program you did had only one function. Had only one function. From now on, one program will be having more than one function. So what is the function part? Do you remember writing public, void, function name? Okay, that part. Okay, that part is called the function actually. Okay, but we used to write only one public void, right? But now on, we will be writing more than one public voids. Okay, we will be writing more than one function from now on. So let us move forward. So next is functions, also known as methods. A method or function is a sequence of some declaration statements and some executable statements. Okay, so what is declaration statements? If you can remember from chapter 3 class 9, declaration of variable and declaration variable with initialization. If you can remember the syntaxes, declaring means creation of variables. Okay, like int a. This is called declaration, and this statement is called a declaration statement. You are declaring a variable a of type int so that it can store some integer value. We have already studied about declaration of variable with initialization. So if you write like this, int equal to 5, this is called declaration. A equal to 5 is called initialization. Okay, so we are talking about these statements, declaration statements and executable statements. Executable statement means all the calculations. All the programs you have written in class 9 have declaration statements, because all programs you have to declare some variables. If you want to store some value in a variable, you have to first declare it. So there are declaration statements in the program. But you have also written few non-executable statements. Which are these non-executable statements? Comments. We studied this in chapter 4. Comments. Okay. These comments are what? These comments are non-executable statements. So for now, forget these comments. Okay. We'll not talk about comments now. We'll be talking only about executable statements. Actually, declaration statement is also a type of executable statements. Okay. So it is a sequence of declaration and executable statement. Sequence means first you have to declare the variables and then you will execute, or you will add. You may subtract, you may multiply, you may do square root, you may do cube of the numbers. There are many calculations. Okay, you can if statements, loop statements, all these are executable statements. Okay, everything are executable statement. Till chapter 8, whatever you have written, scanner class input, buffer reader class input, or your looping statements, your decision making and branching statements, your print statements, okay, everything are executable statement, because whenever you write those statements, for example, system.out.println a, what will the computer do? It will execute it to give you the output. Therefore, these are all executable statements. Okay, these are all instructions. These are all executable statements. So now we'll move to the definition or the syntax of function. This is very, very important. Okay. So here can you see this line? Public static void xyz int double d char c. Forget about this line. So you used to write public in the function, you used to write void, you used to give some name to the function, and these are parameter input. So I am taking an integer value in variable a, I am taking a real value in variable d, and I am taking a single character value in variable c. So this is a typical function used to write in class 9. Okay. So now we'll understand what does this public means, what does this static means, what does this void means, what does this name means, what does this parameter means. Okay, so let us move forward. The public part where you used to write public, this public part is called access specifier. It is called what? It is called access specifier. So there are three types of access specifier, that is public, private and protected. Okay, it is public, private and protected. So let us understand what is public, what is private, what is protected, and what is the difference by help of a real life example. So everyone has a Facebook account, right? So I will help you understand. How Facebook uses public, private and protected access specifiers. Okay, Facebook is also a type of program, and this program also uses public, private and protected. Okay, so let us understand. So this is my Facebook account. Okay, if you want you can send me a friend request also. So here I want to post, for example, study at home with Divya classes, for example. I want to tell that why to go anywhere else, because you can sit in your house and study online from Divya classes. So this is what I want to share with everyone. Means whoever is looking into my profile can see this message or can see this post, that is study at home at Divya classes. So can you see this button? Public, friends, friend accept, only me and specific friends. Okay, can you see this? Okay, so these are nothing but these are access specifiers. Who should see this? Means who can see my post? So if it is public, anyone on or off Facebook can see it. Okay, anyone on or off Facebook means my friends, people who are not my friends. Okay, people who are also not in Facebook, they need to log in and they can also see my post. Okay, so this is called public. So what is public? So when you write public void a, okay, so this function a can be seen by everyone. Whatever is inside this function a, everybody can see it. That is the main thing. When you write public void and function a, so whatever is present inside this function a, everybody can see it. So who are those everybody? These are other members. These are other members. Okay, these are other members who can see it. Then you can see only me. Only me is nothing but private. Means only I can see it. For example, I am posting remind students to submit assignments at 10 a.m. So I want to post something to myself. Okay, here I will select only to me. Means actually I want to remind myself that I should let the student ask to submit their assignment at 10 a.m. today, for example. So I don't want to post in public. This is for me only. I just want to remind myself that I need to ask the students to submit their assignment at 10 a.m. So therefore I have written only me. Only me means only I can see it. And this is nothing but this is private. Okay. And now if I want to post something to specific persons, like for example, Rahul and Samira, please submit your assignment. So will I post this in public? No, because I just want to tell Rahul and Samira. So what I will do? I will select specific friends. Okay. So this is called, if I select specific friends and when I click, it will ask to search the friends. Okay. So here it is known as protected. It is known as protected. So this is how the access specifier works. Public means everyone will be seeing the post. Private means only I will be seeing the post. And protected means I am trying to make the post visible only to specific persons. Only to specific person. And now let us understand how access specifier works in Java. So I have created a table for you to help you understand how access specifier works in Java. So for example, there is a class A and it has two functions, because a class can have more than one function. From chapter 9 onwards, we'll be writing more than one functions. Okay. So let in a class A there are two functions, X and Y. There is another program, class B. Again it has two functions, P and Q. So let us talk about the function X. So this function X, it is public void X. Okay, this function X is public void X. So the access specifier is nothing but public. So what will happen when X is public? When X is public, all the functions inside class A can access X because it is declared as public. All the functions means here there is only one function more, that is Y. So Y can access X. Similarly, if there was Z, Z will also access X. All the functions inside this class A can access X because it is declared as public. Okay. Because it is declared as public, therefore all the functions inside the class A can access the function X. And since it is declared public, all the classes inside the package can also access X. So for example, A and B is present inside a package C. What is a package? Package is a collection of similar type of class. We studied in chapter 8. Okay. So assume that in a package C there are two classes A and B. So all the classes, and so here there are two classes, that is A and B. So all the classes, there may be class D, E, F also. Okay, but now in this small package there are only two classes, that is A and B. So inside B there are again two functions P and Q. So when X is declared public, all the functions of class A can access, and also all the functions, that is P and Q, can also access X because X is declared as public. Okay. Subclass. What is a subclass? We studied in inheritance. Subclass derived class. Subclass is also known as derived class. Subclass is derived from which class? It is derived from superclass. Okay, the main class, the base class. Okay. So assume that this class A has a subclass A1, and similarly B also has a subclass B1. Means through the help of inheritance, there are new classes created, that is A1 and B1. So with the help of inheritance, we have inherited some properties of A to the class A1. Similarly, the properties of B from to class B1. Okay. So A1 and B1 are nothing but subclasses. A1 is subclass of A and B1 is subclass of B. A and B are superclasses or base class. Okay. So if X is declared public, then functions inside A1 can also access X because X is declared public. Similarly, subclass of different class. Same class means A because X is present in A. The subclass of same class. We are talking about A1 here. Subclass of different class means we are talking about B1 here. Okay, we are talking about B1. So all the functions inside B, all the functions inside B1 can also access X because X is declared as public. The whole world can access X because X is declared as public. The whole world means all the packages in Java. C is not the only package in Java. Java has multiple packages. So all the packages of Java can access this function X because X is declared as public. Okay. Now we'll move to private. What happens if instead of public I declare X as private? I declared X as private. So if I declare X as private, only this will work and other things will not. Means only the functions inside the class A can access X because now X is not public anymore. It is private. If X is private, only the functions inside the class can access it. Okay. Simple to remember. And now we'll move to protected. So in protected, you can see the whole world is cross, but almost everything is selected. Because protected concept is we will tell who can access it. We'll give the permission. For example, if X is now protected, so things works like this. X will tell who can access me. If X will tell that, okay, Y and P can access me. So only Y and P can access X. Q cannot access X or any other function cannot access X. Like Q will not be able to access, functions of A1 will not be able to access, functions of B1 will not be able to access. If X tells that Q can access me and functions of A1 can access me, then only Q and A1 can access. But Y will not be able to access, P will not be able to access, and functions of B1 will not be able to access. So protected is a concept where the function will give the permission that who can access and who cannot access. This is how the protected works. Just similar to how we saw in the Facebook case. Okay. So now let us move forward. So now the next thing is modifier. Modifier is not in our syllabus in details, but if you want, you can remember the 6 types of modifiers in Java, that is final, transient, native, volatile, synchronized, and static. Okay, so these are called modifier. But I will make you understand what is actually modifier. So let us take an example of a road. So what type of access specifier road is? Obviously it is public, because everyone can access road. You can access road, I can access road, your parents can access road. A foreigner who comes from Australia can also access the road. You will not tell that this is in Indian road, you cannot access it. Okay, because it is declared as public, everybody can access, the whole world. Okay, the whole world can access it. But there is some modifier used. Though it is public, everybody can access it, but there are some rules and regulation in the roads, like you have to walk on the left side of the road, on your left side. Okay, you have to walk on your left side, or when the traffic signal is red, you have to stop. So these are the rules implemented, and there are many other rules in the roads. Okay, so these rules are nothing but modifier, you can say. In simple words to understand, these are called as modifier. After the access is given, if there is further restrictions, then we can say that that is modifier. Okay. So actually, public, private, protected is linked with encapsulation. Okay. So when you do public, private, protected, you hide and protect your data. That is data hiding. So public, private, protected is linked with encapsulation. So how do you want to protect your data? If you do public, everybody can access it. So basically it is not protected. If it is private, it is completely protected, because only that class can use it. And if it is protected, then you will tell who can access it. Okay, only specific persons can access it. So next is return data type. Do you remember we write void, public, then void? We don't use modifier, so we have never used modifier, and also in class 10 we will not be using any modifiers. So public, and then we write void. That void area is known as return data type. So what is return data type? Tells what type of value or constant the return statement returns. Okay, we have not studied about return statement right now. Okay, so we'll be studying in the next part what is actually return statement, next part of our chapter 9 video. Okay, so just remember these definitions and we'll come back to this later. Tells what type of value or constant the return statement returns. All Java primitive data types can be written. If nothing is written, it is void. So in class 9, the function was not actually returning anything. Okay, so therefore we are writing void. A function can return values, and it can be of any primitive data type. It can be of any primitive data type. Only primitive, not string, because string is non-primitive data type. If we can return string, but that is a different concept. We'll study in future classes. Okay, and if nothing is written, it is void. So in class 9, we are not returning anything. Therefore, we are writing always public void, public void, public void. But from now on, we'll be writing public int, public double, public byte, public short, public boolean. Okay, and what is that thing? We'll be studying in future chapters. And next is function name. So all functions should be followed by function name according to identifier rules. So what are identifier rules? You can refer to class 9. All the rules of identifier. I know you remember the identifier rules because we have been studying in chapter 3 for long time. And parameter list. The parameter area where we take the input, the parameter type input, right? You write there int A, int B, int C, double A, double B, double C to take different types of input. That area is known as parameter or parameter list. Since there are more than one input that can be taken, you can take one input, you can take no input, you can take more than one input. That area is known as parameter list. So it is a list of variables separated by comma with a data type, like int A, comma int B, comma int C, or int A, comma double A, comma char C. There are data types, there are variables separated by commas, also known as formal parameters. Okay, that can be empty or it can have more than one or more than one parameters. So we'll come to few examples now. So in this example, we have written int dnm int A. Okay, don't see this written part. Okay, don't see this written part, you will not get this. Just see this. This is nothing but a ternary operator. Okay, what is written I will tell you later. So just see this part. Okay, int is what? It is a return type. It is a return type. Okay, here we have not written either access specifier or modifier. Actually, access specifier and modifier are optional. You may write, you may not write. It is not compulsory to write public, private or protected. You may write, you may not write. It is optional. Similarly, modifier. We have not written modifier any of the time. So again, it is optional. And the return data type is int. The function name is DNM. And the parameter list has one parameter, that is int a. Next example. Here we have access specifier public. We have a modifier, that is static. We have a return data type void because we are not returning anything. Therefore, we are writing void. Can you see here in the last example, return statement was written. This return word is written. Okay, I will tell you what is that in future classes. But here you can see no return is written. Therefore, here we have written void. Hi is the function name and there is no parameter. The parameter list is empty. The next example, the access specifier is public. The modifier is static. The return data type is double. See, we have written statement, therefore we have written double. Then min is the function name and we have two parameters. The parameter list has two parameters, that is double A and double B. So today we have just started functions. We understand the syntax of function, what are the parts of a function. So next class we'll go deep into understanding this in details. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.